Greetings and welcome to Moritz Workshop channel. We already made few videos about living fantasy settings. Mostly they were dedicated to the Witcher world, but also we few times mentioned the Lord of the Rings. It's probably one of the best and most deeply described world with really complex lore. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the books and of Tolkien work as a complex. Also, I love the original movies. About The Hobbit, let's just forget about it. So obviously, I looked forward when I realized that there will be TV series from Amazon dedicated to Lord of the Rings world. The name Rings of Power, and the story is set it few thousand years ago before our beloved story of Lord of the Rings. Of course, the series is not out yet, but we already had some photos and some descriptions. And some of them make me feel pretty nervous. There are few fantasy worlds described in such a detail. You have exact descriptions of locations, of characters, and also how the different species of this world should look like. We don't have many informations about the story itself yet, so let's focus on what we have. The few photos that were already released. The world of Lord of the Rings is a home for many different species. Humans, elves, dwarves, orcs, trolls, and all of them are kind of a humanoid species, but totally different. And each and every one of them has their own culture and their specific, really well described visual. So let's start with the humans. For now, we probably have two characters presented. One is some male blacksmith, maybe. The location looks pretty neutral, so nothing more. And the other is a lady, the village herbalist. Costume looks decent. Location, maybe I just have a slight issue that if this is a ancient world and this is a living village, I think it shouldn't be that destroyed. Why the houses look so old? I think they should be brand new. Let's move to the elves. We have two lore characters, Elrond and Galadriel, and one Amazon origin character. From those three, for my opinion, the Elrond looks most decent, especially the costume. That has nice elvish look, so pretty nice. Maybe he looks a little bit too young, because you know, the elves are immortal. They do not age. So he looks there like a teenager, but here he would already be about 2000 years old. So not a school kid anymore. So about the Galadriel, maybe the same small issue as with the Elrond character. She looks really young, but she would be around 5000. In The Lord of the Rings, she would be over 8000, so not that much older. She's not a teenage girl, but if the actress gives good performance, it could work, so why not? About the armor, I would need some more photos probably. The pauldrons looks decent, arm protection the same. The cuirass, I'm not sure about the practicality. I think it would be pretty immobile. The main issue is with the mail. Just so many folds and it's unnecessarily loose. It looks more like some fashion model for performance than practical armor. And whole look of it, she looks more like some kind of warrior princess, like Elsa from Frozen when she go a little bit harder and took the armor. That doesn't fit to the character of Lady Galadriel. She's an old and powerful elf, really powerful. She's not supposed to fight in a front line, so if you have a IT expert and just give him a gun and send him in the front line, he won't be that much useful there, because he probably doesn't know how to use the gun. So it's much better to leave him behind in the computer, and he will be much more useful to prevent the cyber attack, because he's an expert in that. And it's kind of the same with the Galadriel. She's a powerful elf, and in Lord of the Rings, the magic works pretty specific. It's much about power of will and powers of nature. And Galadriel, she's really good at it. So it would be much more useful to let her do her thing, not leading from the front. That would be job for Elrond and Gil-galad. So we will have to wait how the character would be actually portrayed. Let's hope. So then the Amazon own character, well, he looks still pretty elvish. He looks tall, slim. Those are main features, but I'm really missing the long hair. Elf character with short hair, it looks just weird. Well, it's still better than the Netflix done in a Blood Origin, totally bald elf with a beard. Come on, that's not an elf. But okay, my main issue is what does he have on his chest? What is that? It's supposed to be a cuirass or some fashion? Did you see Game of Thrones, the Elder Trees? With the face on? It looks like he cut off the face of one and wears it as a trophy. What is that idea? Last but not least, let's move to the Dwarves. Again, two characters. One of them supposed to be Durin the Fourth. It's a pretty specific character, so I just hope the authors read the lore properly. About his clothing, or can we call it armor? You know, personally, I would always have some kind of issue with those like pyramid-shaped stuff. It maybe could work against some bite, but I'm not sure as armor. Well, it does give a little bit structural strength to it, but also it will lead any blow in the gap between the pieces. So stabbing would be really good tactics against this kind of armor. But I never tested. Maybe it's good against the bite, so it can be really useful against wargs. Well, at least he looks kind of cool. And then we have a Dwarven princess of Gaza. Okay, let's start with the dress. Last time I was in some cave, it wasn't a warm place. So unless you are directly to the forge, especially the halls of Khazad-dûm with really high ceilings, that won't be warm place. So this really light whitish dress? No. It looks more like some kind of Cleopatra inspired style. But you know, in Egypt it's really warm, so that makes sense. In the halls of Khazad-dûm, I doubt it a bit. So maybe give the character some more practical clothing, you know, something functional for the area where she lives. So the dress could be fixed, but what about a beard? She's a dwarf. Dwarven female are by appearance and voice so close to the man that they are often mistaken. Female and male looks pretty similar. The Dwarven girls have beards, proper beards. This is a shamefacing and a huge insult and totally butcher the whole lore. If you do something like this, it shows that you ignored basic lore of this fantasy world. It's really disrespectful to whole Tolkien's work. Let's wait for another photos and another characters, and also let's hope that the story will be at least decent. That was a short reaction video. Leave us a comment, and if you want more about the Lord of the Rings setting and also specific about the Amazon Rings of Power, give us a like and see you next time.